A lot of setting up. But all praise to the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem HaShak Yahushai, for showing His mercy endure forever. It took some time, but we got things set it up. We're about to start. We're about to rise and face the east, face Jerusalem, and begin the prayer. Hallelujah. We're blowing the shofar. The blessing of the Shabbat, read in Hebrew. Repeat the Hebrew only. The Shabbat blessing. Blessed be Yahweh in the name anointed Yahushai that give us the Shabbat in peace. Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShak Yahushai.
B'Hashem HaMashak Yahushai.
How on the Thanawa.
Lawa al Thana.
HaShabbath.
HaShabbath.
B'Shalom.
B'Shalawah.
Blessed be Yahweh in the name anointed Yahushai that give us the law. Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShak Yahushai.
B'Hashem HaMashak Yahushai.
How on the Thanawa.
Lawa al Thana.
It's like it. HaThorah.
HaThorah.
Blessed be Yahweh in the name anointed Yahushai that give us the light to see. Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShak Yahushai.
B'Hashem HaMashak Yahushai.
How on the Thanawa.
Lawa al Thana.
Ha'awar.
Power.
Laka'ah.
Lakra'ah.
Blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh in the name anointed Yahushai that give us the ram's horn to call the people. Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShak Yahushai.
B'Hashem HaMashak Yahushai.
How on the Thanawa.
Lawa al Thana.
Ha'awar.
Ha'awar.
Hayo.
Hayal.
Koran.
Koran.
Laka'ah.
Lakra'ah.
Ha'ain.
Ba'aim.
Blessed be Yahweh in the name anointed Yahushai that gave us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barak Yahweh.
Barak Yahweh.
B'Hashem HaShak Yahushai.
B'Hashem HaMashak Yahushai.
How on the Thanawa.
Lawa al Thana.
Hashaman.
Hashaman.
Zayaf.
Zayath.
Lamashak.
Lamashak.
Yasha'ala.
Yashala.
B'Hashem.
Hashem.
Amasiak.
Mashak.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Thawara.
Tawara.
Thamyad.
Damyad.
Aman.
Aman.
Psalms 92, the blessing of Shabbat.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an inch made of 10 strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thine hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to shew that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Ba'Hashem, HaMashak Yahushai, T'waratam Yad, Aman.
Hallelujah.
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 Psalms 121, the blessing of Shabbat, written in English.
Psalms 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Ba'Hashem, HaMashak Yahushai, T'waratam Yad, Aman.
Aman. Daarom Palau Lashon Kodash, repeat the Hebrew only, the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa,
Abana,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shabbat,
Kodash,
Wadash,
Haya,
Haya,
Shamcha,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yaha,
Malach Kwafka,
Malakwafka,
Taba'a,
Taba'a,
Ratazaika,
Ratazaka,
Haya,
Haya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Barataza,
Barataza,
Hawa,
Kawa,
Haya,
Haya,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayam,
Lafaranawa,
Tarana,
Lacham,
Lachom,
Hayawam,
Gawam,
Basalak Nawa,
Salakna,
Kawafi Nawa,
Kababathna,
Kasalak Nawa,
Kasalakna,
Kawafi Nawa,
Kabawathanawa,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Fabia Nawa,
Tabaina,
Bansaiwan,
Barasaiwan,
Abo,
Abo,
Hawashai Nawa,
Abashaina,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Haya,
Kaya,
Lacha,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Amalakwa,
Wa'ala,
Wala,
Wahaparaf,
Wathai Parath,
Lawalonium,
Wabalamiam,
Bahashem,
Bashem,
Amasiak,
Amashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Thawada,
Tawada,
Thamyad,
Damyad,
Aman.
Aman. Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, and forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Ba'ashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, Dwarat Miyad, Aman.
Aman. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Bahashem.
Yahushai.
Bahashem.
Yahushai.
All praise and power go to Yahweh, Bahashem, Amasiach Yahushai, for surely his mercy endure forever. We thank you, O Yahweh, for all the mercy you have given us in these last days, thy patience. We thank you, O Yahweh, for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of our heritage, our culture, our laws, O Yahweh, that has given us. The so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans of Indian descent, you have finally awakened us back, O Yahweh, to who we're supposed to be, thy chosen people. We thank you, O Yahweh, and I pray you continue to do so. You spread forth that Holy Spirit, O Yahweh, that spirit of remembrance to all the 12 tribes of Israel scattered across the four corners of this earth, O Yahweh. Bahashem Amasiach Yahushai, Thawara Thamyad Aman.
Aman.
May be seated. Oh, praises. Screen share we got going on. Got some artifacts we're going to. Oh, praises. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, for surely his mercy endureth forever. Oh, praises. It's been another terrible week here in Babylon. Things are just getting worse every day, right? You know, you got brothers and sisters, they're walking around in America, and they just look dead. You know what I mean? Just going through the motions. I'm just going through the feelings. You know, get up, go to work, go home. If you're a man, your woman's yelling. If you're a woman, your man's not there. You know what I mean? The children are all out of order. And that's every day here in Babylon, man, in this present evil world. But we thank the Heavenly Father that He given us a way, a hope out of this place. You know what I mean? We have to have kind of somewhat of a patience and mercy, even with the simplicity we have to deal with our people. You know what I mean? A lot of times we talk to our people, we try to put them down with knowledge, but they come at us with stupidity. You know what I mean? And sometimes we have to have patience with them because in their mind, there's no hope. For them, tomorrow, there's just more of this. More niggas dying. More women, no single-parent households. You know what I mean? More children going missing, getting murdered, being drug dealers. You know what I mean? Just more of that. You know? But for us, those who come back to our heritage, we know tomorrow, every day here, as we keep the commandments of God, every day is another opportunity for the Lord to destroy this place, man. It's another opportunity for the Most High to free us and bring us back to our land. That's why we have to have patience with our people when they come with us with that foolishness. Let's get Colossians chapter 3, verse 17.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the power and the Abba by Him.
Right, so whatever we do, we have to give all praise to the Most High, to the Father. We have to give all praise to the Father through His Son, Hamashiach Yahushai, right? Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to be teaching and operating this. I was used to doing this by myself. I'll do it by myself. Here, Officer Blanca, take this. I'm going to have you operate from down there. Here's this too. There you go. All praise to the Most High. Okay, so you could take this screen down and put it on there for you, and you could put the YouTube up here so I can see it. Right? So us as Israelites coming from that Christian persuasion, now that we're Israelites, we have to understand the simplistic basis and how to deal with the Most High and deal with the promises that He given us, right? Deal with this thing called faith, right? Faith isn't, we don't go off blind faith, right? That's not what the Most High has given us. He's given us prophecy. He's given us history and archaeology, and how do we know who we are and where we're going. See what I'm saying? So now let's start off with this. Let's get the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. Let's see what the Most High God has taught us. Let's see if this is a biblical thing, or if I'm just making this up. We're not supposed to just rely solely off our faith and what we believe. I mean, I believe I'm an Israelite, but I don't just believe I'm an Israelite. I could prove them an Israelite with history, archaeology, and spiritual prophecy. I mean, that spiritual prophecy have to come first, but it's backed with history and archaeology. Go ahead, Job 8 and 8.
Job chapter 8, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
For inquire, I pray thee.
What did the Lord say?
For inquire, I pray thee.
I inquire, think about, talk about, you know what I mean? Go over it, inquire, read on.
For the former age.
For the what?
For the former age.
For the thing that was before you. Think about yesterday. Think about the year before you. Think about decades before you. I mean, you see how things are right now. Think about how it was when your father was growing up, how your grandfather was growing up. See what I'm saying? Think yesterday. Don't think now. Think yesterday. Read on.
For inquire, I pray thee, for the former age.
For the what?
For the former age.
For the former age, read on.
And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
And prepare yourself for the search of your fathers, right? So now, your fathers are where now? Where are your fathers right now? Question for you, my brother. The scripture's saying, inquire of yesterday, what's happened already, right? Take yourself and go and inquire the search of your fathers. Where are your fathers physically right now? Yeah. No, your fathers. Yeah. Yeah, like your ancestors. Yeah, where are your ancestors right now, physically?
Well, they're asleep.
Sleep, but where?
I would say they're in a resting place.
In a resting place, which means they're in the what? In the, huh?
They're like in a hiding place, in a holy place, I would say.
That's their spirit, but the body.
Oh, in the ground.
Give the brother a hand. There you go. He got it. Their body. It says. Read that scripture one more time.
For inquire, I pray thee.
Uh-huh.
For the former age.
Of the former age, your history, right? Search back to the events that took place. Read on.
And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
And prepare yourself for the search of your fathers. Now, your fathers physically are in the ground. Right. Spiritually, they're with the Father, but physically, they're in the ground. That's dealing with archaeology. That's what archaeology is all about. It's about digging up where people were, where this tribe was, where this people were living. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it says, prepare yourself for the search of your fathers, right? Let's get the book of Proverbs, Job chapter 12, verse 7. Let's see if we're supposed to rely just solely on prophecy. Prophecy is what comes first, but it's backed with history and archaeology. And we're going to go into a little bit about archaeology tonight. Go ahead. Job 12 and 7.
Job chapter 12, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
But ask now the beasts.
What did it say?
But ask now the beasts.
Ask now the beasts. Read on. Read a verse before that.
The tabernacles of robbers prosper.
The tabernacles of robbers prosper. Who's the tabernacle of robbers? Our oppressor, right? Our oppressors, but predominantly the so-called white man, right? Who is the devil? Read on.
And they that provoke Yahweh are secure.
Uh-huh.
Into whose hand God bringeth abundantly.
Uh-huh.
But ask now the beasts.
Ask what?
But ask now the beasts.
And you're going to understand who the robber is when you what? You ask the what? The beast. How are you going to ask beast who the robber is? How are you going to ask a dog and say, who the hell is the devil? Who is he? Who's my enemy? How are you going to ask him? You're going to study him. You're going to observe what's going on with the animals. I mean, who the hell is trying to raise up all these foundations? Oh, protect the habitations of the bears and rhinos. But who the hell is killing them? Who's running them off to extinction? Is it not our oppressors? Or maybe it's some black people out there somewhere trying to hunt down some lions. You know what I mean? In the jungle. You know what I mean? No. It's the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, the so-called white man. You know what I mean? Read on.
But ask now the beasts,
Uh-huh.
and they shall teach thee.
And they're going to teach you, right? You're going to observe, okay, they're the same people who's killing them, trying to kill all these rhinos to take off their horn and everything like that. And then they're going to be the ones setting up all these foundations, talking about, give us just $1 a day. Right. Read on.
And the fowls of the air.
And the fowls of the air, uh-huh.
And they shall tell thee.
And they're going to tell you. Read on.
Or speak to the earth.
What it say?
Or speak to the earth.
Speak to who?
Speak to the earth.
Now we know the white man. We know our enemy. We know our oppressor, so-called white man, is the goddamn devil. He's a liar. He's a deceiver, right? He's a thief, right? But it says what? What does it say there?
Or speak to the earth.
But speak to the earth. Talk to the earth. Observe what's in the earth. And what's in the earth, just like we read in Job 8:8, is where? What's in the earth? Our people, our fathers, our ancestors. You know what I mean? Artifacts. You know what I mean? Archaeology is in the earth. You know what I mean? White man can say whatever the hell he wants. Oh, this famous man was a so-called white man, and he came out of Europe. But when I go into that goddamn earth, it doesn't say that. I pull up that body, that man, he don't have no thin lips like no damn white man. He's a black man. You know what I mean? That earth ain't gonna lie to me. So I'm saying? So that's what the scripture's telling us. Archaeology is going to be our help in these last days. It's going to help us increase in knowledge. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 12. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 12, or 12 and 7.
Nope, 7 verse 12.
Is 7 verse 12?
Might be 7 verse 12. Should come to pass.
12 and 4.
12 and 4?
That's what it was. Always say it's 12 and 7. That's crazy. That's like the fourth time. It's 12 and 4. Mm-hmm.
Deuteronomy chapter 12 verse 4.
Uh-huh.
You shall not do so unto the Lord your God.
Not Deuteronomy, Salakia. Daniel's 12 and 4. That's what I meant to say. You can take it off this mainstream because I want to also be able to see the comments from up here too. I want to stay interactive with them if they ask any question. Yeah, that's fine. I'm also going to send something in the screen so you can set it up. But go ahead. Read Deuteronomy 12 and 10. 12 and 4.
Okay. Daniel chapter.
Daniel's 12 and 4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel chapter 12 verse 4.
Uh-huh.
But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal it in a book,
Uh-huh.
even to the time of the end.
Mm-hmm.
Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
What did it say?
Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
So the visions and parables and all the prophecy that Daniel had in his book and the understanding, it was supposed to be shut up. It was supposed to be shut up. The understanding of it is supposed to be shut up until the end. The end didn't begin until Christ revealed himself and died for our sins. A Messiah came and died for our sins. It tells us in Hebrews 1:1, that's when the end began. With the coming of Christ and the destruction of our temple and the exile of our people, that was the end, right? From Christ being crucified all the way to now, we've been in that end times. So the prophecy's been shut up until what? Now. Until it's now been revealed to our people, right? So keep reading.
even to the time of the end.
Uh-huh.
Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
What did it say?
And knowledge shall be increased.
And knowledge shall be increased. That's why it says in Job 12 and 7. That's why it says in Job 8 and 8 that you should search your fathers. You should what? Speak to the earth, because the earth is going to teach you. The earth is going to have all that abundance that's going to help you in your faith, help you make sense of this thing that you have that's been shut up. I mean, the thing that's been shut up is prophecy, right? And what opens it up is that history and that archaeology. I mean, that helps increase your knowledge of it. I don't want to say it opens it up, but increase your knowledge of it, right? The last verse I want to get is Revelation chapter 12. I wasn't even gonna get this, but I was just talking to this brother right here. That's crazy. We were just talking about it. And that's what made me remind me. I was like, that's a good verse there. That's actually a really powerful verse in that chapter.
Chapter 12, verse.
Revelation chapter 12. You can start from verse 1.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven.
Uh-huh.
A woman clothed with the sun.
Uh-huh. A woman clothed with the sun. Read on.
And the moon under her feet.
And the moon under her feet. I already did a whole class on this. If you search it up on YouTube, LOZ Friday History class, the woman clothed with the sun, I'm pretty sure you can find it. I did a class on that, breaking down what does it mean. But what I want to explain, just to brush over it, is that the sun and the moon is symbolic for wisdom and understanding. And I broke it down in the other class, right? Let's keep going.
And upon her head.
Now we're going to understand who this woman is. Read on. Upon her head is what?
A crown of 12 stars.
12 stars. Upon her head is 12 stars, right? Just like with Joseph in his dream. Joseph saw the sun, he saw the moon. That was symbolic for Jacob and his mother. And all the stars were symbolic for his brothers. Just like he was a star, right? Read on.
And she being with child cried, travailing in birth.
Right, so that's Israel, right? And that's Christ coming. Now let's jump down and let's get to verse 13.
Verse 13?
Mm-hmm. No, 14. Yeah.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time.
Right. That place that she was nourished, that's the west coast of Africa. It's explained in Micah chapter 4, right? That's the west coast of Africa, right? That's where we remained, and we was nourished for a time until we was taken into slavery. Then came the judgment and the curse that's mentioned in Daniel's, in the law. Read on.
That he might cause her from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out his water as a flood after the woman, right, that he might cause her.
The flood it's dual. I don't want to say dual prophecy. It has a double meaning. It's not just symbolic for. It's symbolic for one, the way that our oppressor, the way Esau, it calls him the serpent. That's the so-called white man. The way he's pressing on us. I mean, as we fled after the way we left Israel and went into the into Africa. When we fled into Africa, he chased us in there. He chased us into Africa. Not only did we flee into Africa, but we fled into Europe. We was taken to Europe and was fighting as gladiators in Rome and Greece. Right? We fled into Asia. We fled further into Asia. We fled into Europe. We fled into Africa because they were chasing us in all these directions. Right? Keep going. So that's what the flood is symbolic for, but not just that. Right? Read that part one more time.
And the serpent cast out his water, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
After what? What did he cast out of his mouth?
Water as a flood after the woman.
That he might what?
That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
That he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. And what that is a flood of lies. All right? It's a flood of lies. right? There's an old saying that we used to say. It was a saying that my father used to say. All right, you lying. It's like a flood of lies, right? Like a whole waste of lies, right? The white man was bound for 1,000 years when we was ruling in the Dark Ages, right? During the Dark Ages, we ruled over Rome, ruled over France, England, Scotland, Wales, all over Europe, right? That's why we have all dark black images all over Europe, even in Asia, right? And during that time, we weren't the only people who had power and dominion, but there's other ethnicities that obtained power and dominion also, while the white man was in those caves and in the pits of Europe doing nothing, right? During that time, the Arabs rose up into power. That's the same time Genghis Khan rose up into power, right? That's a lot of times where all these other ethnicities, they had their chance and opportunity. But when it came to 1400s, it was all over by then, right? That's when the white man obtained his power. That's when the Bourgeois family, they came in, and when the Bourgeois family came in and they established that white supremacy. That's where you get that image of white Jesus. It started in the 1400s. There's no image of that prior to that, right? And that's when you come into the whole system of what? The Renaissance and the New Age, the New Era, the rebirth, right? That's all garbage. It's a rebirth of what? The rebirth of white supremacy. It existed before. That's when Rome stood. And then when he lost Rome and we stood up, because the last Roman Empire before the Dark Ages began was a black man. It was Septimius. I think that's his name, Septimius. If you search him up, he's a black man, right? After that, the white man lost his control. Then you have Fernando and Isabella of Spain. They established the Spanish Inquisition, the forces out of Spain, Portugal, a lot of these places, right? And after that, they chased after us and made us slaves, right? So that's when the flood of lies began. Christ is white. The God is white. The angels are white. Niggas, you're monkeys, right? Absolutely. 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 You know what I mean? But I'll even tell you the truth is that even though their lies are so strong, there's proof of evidence that there's abundance of proof of evidence, at least up to the 1850s, the world, I mean, every ethnicity understood that, at least up to the 1850s, to see a Jew meant to see a black face, right? They understood that, right? So now let's read. Keep reading. Let's see what saved the woman from the flood of lies. Read on.
And the earth helped the woman.
What helped her?
And the earth helped the woman.
The earth helped the woman, but let's see how he helped her.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Because the flood is to naught. It doesn't mean anything. These lies don't mean anything. When I can open up archaeology and tie that with prophecy, your lies are finished, white man. Your power is gone. Right? Let's get a quick image. Give me that image I used for the thumbnail before. Go into photos. Pull one of those images up. All right, pull that up on the screen. Share that screen. Share that. Yeah, like for example, I had this as a thumbnail before, but like I explained before, this came from an ancient manuscript. This was an ancient manuscript that was discovered in Greece. At least, and it was discovered, this ancient manuscript was created in the 11th century, but it was discovered in the 16th century because in the 16th century, it was found in the hands of the Byzantines, right? It was bound together by the Byzantines, right? And guess what? Hint, hint, the Byzantines were ruled by our people. That's a part of Rome that we controlled because Rome used to be one empire, but then it split into two. And those two empires split into 10 empires that came came under it, like Spain, Portugal, France. All those things are branches of Rome. Go ahead, you had a question.
What's so crazy is like even now we know that even with sports, the black man is better than any type of physical nature. So how?
Right, absolutely.
Natural.
Right.
To be fast, all
No, absolutely. But you know what's crazy? I remember one year, I think it was 2000, maybe it was 2014, and I remember watching, I think NBA. It was the NBA Hall of Fame, and they was calling all the people from Hall of Fame each year, right? And everyone was black. I was looking at it. I was like, he's black. He's black. I was like, there ain't no way gonna be no white person gonna come out. And I wasn't even the truth at that time. You know what I mean? So it's something we see all the time, but we never put one to one. All right? And one can't be put to one unless what? Something helps us. Just like Revelation 12 says, right? Unless the Most High gets involved, ain't nothing gonna help us. We're gonna see it all the time, but we're never gonna be able to put one together. Right. So this is an example of history helping our people. Right. Now let's get the main purpose of going into this diaphragm by posting that. I sent something on. I just airdropped something right there in the corner of the screen. All right. This is the image of King David. That's King David on the left killing an African, and that's King David on the right. Right. And if you can see, he has fringes on, right? I think, where is it? It's on the end of his sword. There's another image that shows him having zeets in the corner of his garment. These things right here. This right here? Yeah, there's an image of him having that in the corner of his garment. But pull that website up. You can put it on the screen. Absolutely. Prophecy tells us about Christopher Columbus. He's mentioned in prophecy. I mean, but history, when you go into history, his own physical journals. You can go something on for those who are interested in history and literature. Go on a website called JSTOR. You search up on JSTOR. JSTOR will show you. You just search up the oldest records, journals, newspaper clips, whatever, primary sources. It will give you a link to one of the earliest journals that was actually written by Christopher Columbus. He writes in it that their language that the Taino Indians, the Arawak Indians were speaking were related to Hebrew. He says that it was broken Hebrew, right? He said that Cuba was a Hebrew word. He said that all the island Haiti was a Hebrew word. Yeah, Haiti. He said those places were Hebrew, right? Cuba is a Hebrew word. I can't remember the exact Hebrew word it goes back to, but it means large tent. And the reason why it means large tent is because when you go in the West Indies, the largest island out there is what? It's Cuba. Cuba is the largest island. So they called it large tent, right? But now going back to this, press open another tab. I want to show y'all what this is. Put TEL, T-E-L, DN. No, that's good. You got it right. Well, that's right. T-E-L, space, Dan, Stelly, right there. Yeah, that's good. Press it. No. You got to put the... It's the third one. Yeah. Images. All right. You can press either one. This one's fine. This one right here. Yeah, that's good. It's right here. What's that? Okay. So what we have here, this is an artifact that was discovered. That was discovered in the 9th century. It goes back to the 9th century. It was discovered in like 1860, I think 1860 or 1890. This is called the Tel Dan Stela, right? The Tel Dan Stela. This is one of the oldest artifacts, most known artifacts that mentions King David's household. In the 1800s, in the 1860s, 1890s, there was a whole group called the Kofalgen. It was a universal group that was making effort on disproving the Bible. The Bible should be disregarded. There's no historical evidence to prove it. And then they discovered this piece of artifact right here that has David's name on it in ancient Hebrew. right? It says Bayath Dawad, and they were trying to say that there was no evidence that David even existed. If I was a so-called white man, I wouldn't want to believe David exists either. All right, one, he's black, he's a nigga, and not only that nigga was killing a lot of people, bro. Nigga means it goes back to the Latin word nigger, and nigger means black, right? It just means black. That's our long history of being associated with that word and used as a derogatory term. We see as an offense, right? But it just means simplistically black. We had words in our Hebrew language that we'll call each other black, like Kadar, Kish, and all these other words. So it doesn't really matter. But if a white man calls me a nigger, then it's just what it is. We're going to get down. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it just means black. But when it comes to this is one of our oldest artifacts. Let's go back to the other tab. Let's read something real quick on it because we gotta go to another one. Then we gotta go into the portion. Let me see. You can read that real quick.
The Tel Dan stele was a black basalt stele erected by an Aramean Syrian king of the northernmost Israel, containing an Aramaic inscription to commemorate his victory over the ancient
1993,
Hebrews.
that's when it was discovered. Salakia. Go ahead, keep going.
Fragments of the stele, which has been dated to the 9th or 8th century BCE, were discovered at Tel Dan in 1993 and 1994. Although the name of the author does not appear on the existing fragments, he is probably Hazael, a king of a neighboring Aram Damascus. The stele affirms that during the time of war between Israel and Syria, the god Hadad made the author king and gave him victory. In the process, he killed King Joram of Israel and his ally, King Hazael.
Right, that's a claim that he made in his artifact. He wrote this stela. A stela is basically it's an upward plat. It's an upward plat that stands up, right? And the stela, he wrote down King Hazael. He wrote down that he killed two of our kings, our southern king and our northern king. Now, that don't make no damn sense. Because when we go into our records, we go into the Josephus, we go into our biblical text, it does not say that at all. It says that Jehu, one of our kings, one of our men, the Lord told him to go kill Joram because that nigga was wicked, right? But then he takes claim, Hazael, during that same time, he makes claim that he's the one who killed both our southern and northern king and king. That's not true at all. But let's read on. And plus, historians don't agree. When you keep reading, go to the New World Encyclopedia, the historians don't agree with his claim that he killed both four our kings, right? But keep going.
King Ahaziah of the house of David. In the Bible, Hazael came to the throne after being appointed by the Israelite prophet Elisha to overthrow his predecessor Ben-Hadad II. However, the Bible attributes the killing of Joram and Ahaziah to the action of Israelite usurper Jehu. Likewise, at the behest of the prophet Elisha. The Bible confirms that Jehu later lost considerable amounts of northern territory to Hazael. As Dan lay just inside Israel's territory, between Damascus and Jehu's capital of Samaria. This makes Hazael's erecting a victory monument at Dan highly plausible. The inscription has generated great interest because of its apparent reference of the house of David.
Right, something that at that time, during the 90s, they believed that did not exist, nor had evidence of. But read on.
Constituting the earliest known confirmation inside of the Bible of the Davidic dynasty.
Because when you just go on Wikipedia and search up King David, it will say that they date back David's life to be around 1050. So it's not that far fetched for this artifact to be discovered around the 9th and 8th century to have a description to his house, him living in the during the time of the 1050, right? Keep going.
The stele was discovered at Tel Dan, previously named Tel Akkadid, an archaeological site in Israel in the Upper Galilee. I'm sorry, I gotta get my glasses. Oh, let me get a little bit closer. Galilee, inside the Golan Heights. Next to the Golan Heights. The site was quite securely identified with the biblical city of Dan, where an important Israelite shrine once stood. Fragment A was discovered accidentally in 1993 in a stone wall near a related archaeological dig at Tel Dan. Fragments B1 and B2, which fit together, were discovered in 1994. There is a possible fit between fragment A and the assembled fragments of B1 and B2, but it is uncertain and disputed. If the fit is correct, then the pieces were originally side by side.
Here, jump down a little bit. Keep scrolling down till you see. Can you exit that out? Scroll down until you see something called the House of David. A setting, a title that says House of David. Keep going down. Keep going. Right there. Stop right there. Right there, where it says right here. The third bracket.
God.
Con, I understand, brother, but Most High willing. I'll see you again, King.
On the positivist side of the controversy regarding the authenticity of the inscription, we now have published opinions by most of the world's leading epigraphers. The inscription means exactly what it says. On the negative side, we have the opinions of Thomson, Lemche, and Cryer of the Copenhagen School. The reader may choose Denver 2003, 128, and 129. The critics have suggested other readings.
Oh, Salakia, where were you? Where are you at?
Right here. Oh, am I right? You see? Yeah, I'm right here.
Let me see. Go back up. Scroll up a little bit. Right there. Where's the second one? I didn't mean the third one. My bad. I meant the second one. Salakia. In favor of the reading.
In favor of the reading, House of David, archaeologist, how am I missing this? Archaeologist William Denver argues that unbiased analysts universally agree with the reading.
So they agree with the reading. They agree that this is actually referring to the House of David. They agree with the time going backwards to the 8th and the 9th century. They agree with this thing. Right? Read on.
Those who deny it tend to belong to the ultra-critic Copenhagen school, which denies that the Bible has any usefulness as a historical source.
Right, and their perspective is very compromised because they already have an idea that they don't believe that the Bible is useful for a historical source. And the thing is that when it comes to Esau, when it comes to the so-called white man, I can understand, like I said before, I can understand why he would disagree with this and say, no, that's not saying the house of David. No, it's not. David doesn't exist. I can understand where you come from that perspective, because spiritually, when you know that that David was a black man killing all these tens of thousands of people, I can understand where you're coming from. I'll be terrified too if I was a so-called white man. I wouldn't want to believe David was alive. I don't want to believe that nigga was alive. You know, it's written down that man was killing thousands of Edomites. That's so-called white people. David was killing so-called white people in the Bible. I would be terrified if I was a so-called white man. I would put all my money and effort to try to put every research I can to say that this is not true. It's unhistorical. It's not right. Right? But you can't do anything because, like we read in Revelation chapter 12, it says the earth shall help the woman. It's going to help us. This history and this archaeology is going to tie in and help and support our spiritual belief, our spiritual understanding in the prophecy, right? So now we're just going to get another one. Scroll back up. Just process of time. Let's go back up. And search up Misha. The Misha Stella. No. So you can scroll up on the website. It's gonna come up. Right there. Misha Stella. Mesha. No, Mesha. Stella, right there. Stella. That's what I'm gonna say. Bam. Let's see that image right there. Scroll down a little bit. So this is the Misha Stele, right? Scroll back up. Now you can start off. Read it.
The Misha Stela, also known as the Moabite Stone, is a black basalt monument bearing an inscription by the 9th century BCE, Moabite king Misha. Discovered in 1868.
This is the one I was thinking about that was discovered in the 60s, in 1860s. Not the Tel Dan Stele. This is the one I was thinking of. Go ahead.
At Dibon, Jordan, biblical Dibon, the capital of Moab. The inscription of 34 lines is the most extensive document ever recovered, referring contemporaneously to ancient Israel.
Uh-huh.
The stela was erected by Misha circa 850 BCE as a memorial of his victories, especially his revolt against the kingdom of Israel, apparently undertaken after death of Israel's king Ahab.
Right, which is mentioned in the Bible. He's mentioned in the Bible. The one who constructed the stele is mentioned in the Bible. Misha is mentioned there, right? Read on.
Currently displayed at the Louvre Museum in Paris, it is 124 centimeters high and 71 centimeters wide.
Jump down. Don't worry about that. Jump down. Slowly. Scroll down a little bit. Keep going. Hold on 1 second. Right there, where it says the stele describes 3 basic events. Read that. You can read from there. You should highlight with the mic so that the mouse so they know where you are.
Moab's subjection to King Omri of Israel as a result of the anger of the god Chemosh, and Mesha's later victories over Omri's descent, not mentioned by name, and over the Israelite tribe of Gad at Ataroth, Nebo, and Jahaz. Mesha's public buildings, his dedication to Chemosh, the slaughter of foreign inhabitants of the cities which he captured, the restorations of fortifications, and the construction of a palace and reservoirs for water, Mesha's wars against Horonaim. With very few variations, the Moabite language of the inscription shares much in common with an early form of Hebrew known as Biblical Hebrew. It is apparently an offshoot of the Canaanite language commonly in use between the 14th to 8th centuries BCE.
Right, which means it's not an exact replica of our ancient Lashon Kodash, right? A holy hieroglyph, right? Our holy language. But what it is it's like a variation, right? Same way you have Spanish, but then you have Portuguese, right? Same way we have ancient Lashon Kodesh Hebrew, and then you got Aramaic. Aramaic is a variation of Hebrew, right? Let's keep going.
In Syria, Palestine. The form of the letters supplies important information regarding the history of the formation of the alphabet as well as, incidentally, the arts of civilized life of those times in the land of Moab.
Right. So both of these artifacts are both examples, both historical examples that one, Israel was a people, right? Israel was a people, Israel's kings and all these events that took place were real. They're not made up. They're not fantasies, right? They're real, not like what the Christian church taught us, right? And the first one is really important because as we're going into the house of David, that it mentions his house, it mentions him himself, right? But the Misha itself is very important because, let's go back up a little bit. Scroll up a little bit. Keep going, keep going. Going some more. Let me see where this thing at. Scroll down a little bit. Scroll down some more. Where is this thing? Let me see. Hold on one second.
Hebrew?
It's where that map, that image of the land is. Go scroll up. I wish it was above that. Above the, bam, right there. The inscription is remarkable not only for its confirmation. Read from right there. You see it?
The inscription is remarkable not only for its confirmation of several biblical events and personalities, but also in that it provides important insights into the religion of Israel's neighbor Moab, and the existence of a previously unknown Israelite shrine in Moabite territory. It also contains the earliest known reference of the Hebrew god Yahweh as the national god of Israel.
Right. So it even mentions the name of our God, Yahweh, not Ahaya, Yahweh, not Yahweh, Yahweh, on the tablet, right? There was one last thing I wanted to pull up for this artifact. Hold on one second. Here, scroll down to the name that you saw. Scroll down. Bam, right there on the left. So this is how they keyed in to find out what king they're referring to, because you have right here, you have Amarya, Malach, Yashar Allah, right? He even mentions the name Israel on the tablet of Yashar Allah, and those dots are dividers within the tablet to show which one name, what word, when a word starts and where it ends, right? And these same dividers right here, these little dots, they're on the same tablet that's discovered here in Americas in New Mexico called the Nulis. I can't remember the exact name. What was the name of it? I can't remember. It's that gigantic tablet that has the Ten Commandments written on it in New Mexico. Okay, so you can take it off now. So I promise I'll go into some historical artifacts. All praise to the Most High that we went into some. I hope you screenshot the website and everything, the encyclopedia, so you can go back and search up more, right? But now let's continue forward. All praise to the Most High. Yeah. Los Lunas. Daughter, I appreciate it. Right. Those same dots, those same pointers are used in the Los Lunas, right? To show when a word starts and where it ends. The water for remind me, officer. All right, where were we? The story of portion now. All praise to the Most High. 2 Samuel chapter 12. I need a charger. Where's my charger at? Officer, is there a charger under? Should be one plugged in right there. Is that one right there? Yo, Officer Mouse. You have an iPhone charger? You have an iPhone charger on you? That's all good. Let's keep going. It's going to be 2 Samuel chapter 12.
Second Samuel chapter 12,
I
verse.
think you're still screen sharing.
No.
You know? Oh, okay. I think it's just delayed. Go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him, and said unto him, There were two men in the city, the one rich, and the other poor. The rich man had exceedingly many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up. And it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man.
Right. The point is that Nathan is confronting David on his transgression. But even though David committed a transgression, he's still the what? He's still what? What is his position in Israel? He's still the what? He's still the king. He's still the ruler, right? The anger of the ruler, the anger of the king is like the seeing an angel of death, right? It says in Proverbs, right? That's Solomon's words, right? So he's coming at him in a certain way. He's not just coming at him saying, nigga, you committed adultery, you're going to be put to death. Well, he's the king, right? You can't just approach him like that, all right? There's a certain way you have to go about it. But keep going.
And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd, to dress the wayfaring man that was come unto him.
Mm-hmm.
But took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him.
Evil.
And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, As the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die. And
Right. So this shows us David's perspective on compassion. He still had it, right? His perception of compassion still existed. He heard that and understood, yo, this is evil. What kind of wicked man would do that? But if he was to deal with a situation like that and he was to act on how he's feeling, that man should be put to death, that would make David a hypocrite. Because he know he done that, right? All this is parabolic for a man taking a man's wife. He understands that. If I take your lamb, do I deserve death according to the law? If I take your physical lamb, do I deserve death according to the law? No, right? It's like if I took your car, I'm not gonna be put to death if I steal your car, but there's a way I'm gonna be punished, right? So David understood this is not talking about actually lambs and dressing and stuff, right? He's talking about a man and talking about his woman, right? He understood the parable, right? Read on.
And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because they did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man.
What did Nathan say?
Thou art the man.
Nigga, that's you, right? Read on.
Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. I gave thee thy master's house, and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things.
What did it say?
And if that had been too little, I would have moreover have given unto thee such and such things.
All right, a footnote. Okay, so you have when he said, I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and I gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. So the small footnote for this is that this is another clear example of the separation of Israel, right? Prior to Solomon going off and there becoming a separation, there's already an idea of separation between us, right? This is before Solomon's even born. This is before there's northern kingdom and southern kingdom. But what he said? He said, I gave you what? The house of Israel and the house of Judah, which means there's a separation there. We're all Israelites, but that separation began with Saul and David, right? It just carried on over to after Solomon, then it became northern kingdom, southern kingdom. That's why in the scriptures you'll see northern kingdom is called the house of what? The house of?
Israel.
The house of Israel. That concept comes from here. It came prior to Solomon. It came from David and Saul. Because David, when he was anointed king, he didn't actually have any rulership. He was just running away from Saul. But when he actually got some power and authority, the tribe of Judah, they surrendered themselves to David. They said, you're going to be our ruler, right? That's when it became the divide. Judah and all the other tribes, right? They're called the house of Israel because they're the what? There's one tribe, that's Judah. Then all the other tribes are called the house of Israel because they're the...
Amalekim?
Nope. Think. Judah is part of the house of Israel also, right? Yeah. But Judah, they're not called the house of Israel. They're just called Judah. All the other tribes under Saul are together or called the house of Israel because they're the what? Think. It's right there. You don't want me to say it. They're the... There you go. Give the brother a hand. They're the majority. And that same concept of majority carried on to northern kingdom because when Saul went off and his punishment was that I'm going to leave you one tribe. That tribe he gave him was Benjamin because Judah already belonged to the house of Judah. The tribe of Judah already belonged to the house of David. They already turned themselves over to the house of David prior to him being king over all the tribes. That's why when you see in later on, it will say, I give you only one tribe. That tribe is talking about Benjamin. Because before, Benjamin belonged to who? The house, that alliance of the house of Israel. You understand? So they're called the house of Israel, northern kingdom. Later on, it's called the house of Israel because they're the majority. They have all the tribes. But us, we're only like Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Haitians, West Indians, and African Americans. Right? Little old us, right? So let's keep reading. It says, and if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such things, such and such things. Right? What are those such and such things? Let's get Psalms. Psalms 2 and 6. Right. But even though that northern kingdom is the majority, and that's why they're called the house of Israel, they're just the majority in tribes. When it comes to tribes that's the largest tribes are Judites and Levites. Those are the two largest tribes. Go look at the territory of Judah. There's a reason why he has all that territory. He is one of the largest tribes we have. And right under him is Levites. We have Levites that when you go into the Chronicles, when you go into Chronicles and you also go to Joshua, it talks to the large amounts of the tribe of Levi, and they're spread it around all the tribes. I mean, those are the two largest tribes that we have, right? So where do we leave off at? Oh, Psalms 2 and 6.
Psalms 2 verse 6.
Uh-huh.
I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree.
Right. So this is David speaking from the perspective of the Lord, right? David speaking from the perspective of the Lord because the Lord is the one who set the king over Israel upon the holy Mount Zion. Right? Read on.
The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son.
What the Lord said to David?
Thou art my son.
You're my son. You're the apple of my eye. Read on.
This day have I begotten thee.
This day have I begotten thee. Read on. But this is also a dual. This is dual prophetic. David is a prophet, so when he says things, he's also prophesying also. So David is saying this about himself, but this is also talking about Yahushua, right? We keep going.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
So when he said such and such things also, I've given you all this, but such and such things also, he's talking about this. When David made mention that ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen as a possession, David ruled over the children of Israel. Every nation was afraid of us at that time during David's life, but we didn't have them under our control. We didn't have them. We didn't have every ethnicity as vassals over against Israel. They're all sending resources to us. No, right? But he's saying, yo, if you asked of me, I would have given you that. But look what you did, though, right? Now let's go back to 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel
Verse
12
9.
and 9.
Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
Officer Masmore, Baha. So he said what? Because you despise me, this is the reason I'm going to do all this to you. Who remembers David's crimes? Even though he said it right there. Who remembers the terms for it? Baha. Who remembers the term for it? Huh? What did he do? What did David do? He did adultery. That's one crime, and it's punishable for what? Death. Someone should kill him, right? And then the next one, he committed what also? He committed what? Right there in front of you. He committed adultery. That's worthy of death. And he also committed what? Nope. Murder. He had the man plotted to die. He had him sent to the heatest part of war to make sure that nigga died. Right? Right. So he's worthy for 2 penalties of death. Just like the white man would be sentencing Jakes for a 2 life sentence. Right? How you die and then your penalty is to die again. You're dead already. Right? Captain Yakazak Wala, Hamatazak, Banoya, Banyashrala. I need to grab something. I need you to fall in. Yeah. Let's keep reading. Keep going. I need to read. I need to get some gas on. Oh, you good.
Come.
God. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with a sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will rise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of his son.
Where we leave off at? And verse 12?
13.
All right, go ahead. Now read verse 11 again. No,
Thus-
verse 10. Verse 10. Read verse 10 again. That's what I meant to say.
Now therefore, the sword shall never depart from thine house.
What do you say?
The sword shall never depart from thine house.
All right, so this is going to be our footnote. As we go further into the scriptures, we have to remember every time something's going on with his household, whenever there's an issue, whenever there's violence against his household, we have to go back here. This is where it was mentioned to us. This is why it's happening. I mean, every time when we do wickedness, when we do evil, even as right now as Israelites keeping the commandments, when we do wickedness and then time passes by, nothing happens and stuff like that, and then something happens, what, you get 4 flat tires at the same time? How the hell did that happen? You know what I mean? Someone hits you in the back of your car. How'd that happen? You lose your job. How'd that happen? Now you're homeless. How'd that happen? It goes back to that wickedness that you committed, right? So we have to make sure when we're going further with the next classes, we have to go back to this footnote. This is where it started, right here. The Lord promised them that, therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. Right? Read on.
And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die.
Key point. He said, the Lord put away what?
The Lord also hath put away thy sin.
Right. The Lord didn't turn away his sin, which means there's no punishment that comes along. The Lord just took away the statute that comes along with him transgressing that law. The law is, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not commit murder. But the statute is, if that man does that, kill him. He takes another man's wife, put that nigga to death. Right? That's the statute. So the Lord said when he put away his sin, he's just taking away the statute that should be put on him. And the statute is him being put to death. Because the Lord doesn't want him to die. That's too easy. No. The Lord wants that nigga to suffer. Because that was his man's. David was the Lord's man's. He held it down. He called the man the apple of his eye. He made him king over Israel when that man wasn't nothing. He was in the hood. Now the Most High said, yo, you got to suffer now. I got to make sure you suffer. Just like I made Moses suffer. He saw the land, but he never went into the land. Right? And I'm going to do the same thing to you. Right? The higher we get, the more information, knowledge, and wisdom we get as Israelites, the more authority the Most High put in our hands, the more the Most High is going to punish us if we fall. The Most High is going to tear our behinds in pieces if we turn our back on him, man. And he still loves us. He deals with us as children. If he wanted to, he could have thrown you back in the world in a damn body bag. But he decides that, you know what, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to put you behind through hell. Right? And that's what he's about to do to David. Right? It would have been easy just to kill the man. But no, I'm going to put you through hell because you're my son, man. Right? Read on.
Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
Right. You're not going to die, but God damn it, someone has to die, man. This is such an evil transgression. Someone has to die, man. Because if a man commits adultery, he's supposed to what? Die. He's supposed to die. Which means he's not going to have the opportunity to do what again? Commit adultery again, right? But David committed adultery, should have died, but he didn't die. He committed adultery, and he had the opportunity to add on sin upon that and committed murder, right? So he's like, God damn it, I'm gonna turn your sin away. I'm gonna take away the statue. No one's gonna kill you, but God damn it, someone gotta die, man. And that child right there, made from that fornication, that child is going to die. Question.
He did that for Cain as well. Right?
What? What example? Explain. Uh-huh. I need another mic because I want them to be able to hear you. Let them use that mic.
I was just saying, Cain killed his brother.
Right.
So he deserved death for killing his brother. But he took away that statue and gave Cain pure HELL.
Give it on. I like that. That was a good example. Clap it up. Clap it up. That's a good example because he should have killed Cain, but he said, I'm going to put you through worse. I'm going to put this mark on you. So now everyone who sees you, you're a forever remembrance that nigga killed his brother, man. Don't trust that nigga. Don't let that nigga into our city. I don't want him around us because he killed his brother, man. That's why he looks the way he looks, right? And it just so happens that he's spiritually just like the so-called white man is. Esau was born into the flesh he was in. What? That just happened for no reason? Because he's been a murderer since the beginning, right? Let's keep going. That was a powerful point. I was sitting here Cain. I was like, where's he going with this? But that was a good point. Where are we?
15. And Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought Yahweh for the child. And David fasted, and went in, and lay all night upon the earth. Mm-hmm. And the elders of his house arose and went to him, to raise him up from the earth. But he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him. And he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead?
Right. So he's like, damn, he was horrible. He didn't clean himself. He's unshaven. You know what I mean? His beard looks crazy. You know what I mean? And this is all while the child is still alive. If we tell this man, this father of this child, that his child is dead, we may lose a king tonight. Right? That's what they're thinking in their mind. Right? And just like any parent. Right? Read on.
But when David saw that his servant whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Mm-hmm. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. Then David arose from the earth, and washed, and anointed himself, and changed his apparel, and came into the house of the Lord, and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, What thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, but when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread.
Right. If you played the game Uno before, there's a card in a deck of cards called reversal, right? He put a reversal on these guys. They were expecting one thing, but they got another thing, right? He got up, he started changing, he cleaned himself up, looked good, put the frankincense and myrrh on, went to worship, sit down and eat, and he was good. And let's see why. Let's see what David said.
And he said, While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. Mm-hmm. For I said, Who can tell whether God will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife.
Right, and that's the level of wisdom. Them guys didn't understand, but David understood that, right? It would just been vain for him to just sit up and just crying for the child nonstop. What are you expecting the Lord to magically put the child back on earth? Is that something incapable for the Lord to do? He can, but he's not going to do it for you, especially in your situation. Look at the situation that he was in, right? We've seen a situation like this happen before with, I think it was Elisha, right? He was visiting a city, and a woman had a child. She had a child, it was playing, got sick, and it died, right? Elisha comes back. He prays to the Father. He touched the child. He prays to the Father, and the child came back from dead. He resurrected the child from the dead, right? So this is not something that's not incapable for the Lord to do, but he was not going to do this for David in this situation. The Lord already told him someone had to die for this, right? Go ahead.
And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called his name Solomon.
Right, called his name Solomon, Shalomah, which means peaceful, right? Read on.
And the Lord loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah.
And he gave him the prophet blessed him with a surname. That surname is Yad Yadaya, which means beloved of Yahweh. Right? He called him beloved of Yahweh. Read on. Oh, we're jumping now. We're not reading 26 to 31 because we dealt with that last week. We ran over that last week. So we're going straight to 2 Samuel 13 and 1.
2 Samuel chapter 13, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass after this, that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister, whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of David, loved her. And Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her.
All right, that's sick, right? That's sick. I mean, he's in love with his sister, man. Right? Keep going.
But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man.
All right, he was subtle, which means he was wise. He knows how to get what he's looking for. Right? Keep going. Wait, he was a son of who?
Shemaiah.
Shemaiah. Right, which makes him what is he to Ammon? He's his friend, but what is he relation wise? Nope. Read verse 3 one more time. His cousin. There you go. He's his cousin. Read on.
But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. And he said unto him, Why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day?
Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? Read on.
Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister.
No, you mean your sister, right? Read on.
And Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come, and give me meat, and dress my meat in my sight, that I may see it, and eat it at her hand. So Amnon lay down, and made himself sick. And when the king come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar, my sister, come, and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Amnon's house, and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took 4 and kneaded it, and made cakes in its sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan, and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, Have out all the men from me. And they went out every man from him. And Amnon said unto Tamar, Bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Amnon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her, and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. Hey.
Sick. Right?
And,
Right? Verse 4:12.
and she answered him. And she answered him, "Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel.
Right. Know what?
For no such thing ought to be done in Israel."
Right. What such thing shouldn't be done in Israel? What is she referring to? Rape. Oh, you gotta be careful of that word. Force, the R word, right? You gotta be careful with YouTube, right? That capital R word is a big no-no in the scriptures. Now, who got the precept for that? Right. But that's not the only thing. What else is she referring to? Incest. That's a big no-no in Israel, right? You don't do that. Those two things you be put to death for, death penalty, right? And she's referring to both of them in this situation. Now, who got that precept for that?
Deuteronomy 22:25.
You got it. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 22 and 25. Officer Monica, you can get Leviticus 18 and 9. You can go ahead and read Deuteronomy 22 and 25. Trooper Benjamin. You use the mic.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 25.
Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel shalt thou do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man rises against his neighbor and slay him, even so in this matter.
Right. So even so in this matter. So this is what she's referring to. That's why she even says it, don't force me. But not only that alone, but it's also the incest. The fact that he's attracted, has this sick lust for dealing with his sister, right? And it's crazy that when you read it early in the chapter, like I tried to make the separation there, how he tried to somewhat justify his passion for her by trying to say my brother Absalom's sister. No, Negro, that's your sister. But in his mind, he's trying to make some justification for it. No, man, you can't get away from that. Now let's see another penalty he has. Let's get Leviticus 18, the incest. Leviticus 18 and 9. Officer Bernard.
Leviticus 18 and 9. The nakedness of thy sister.
Hold on. Let me get something right there. You can read verse 1, 2, and 3, and then jump down to 6 and then 9.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwelt. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwelt.
Now, how popular is incest in Egypt? Very, very, very. They have gods called Nut and Thought. Those are Egyptian gods, right? How do they say?
Nut and Thought.
Yes, those are Egyptian gods. Excuse me. Those are netters. That's how you say it. Those are Egyptian netters, right?
They have dynasties as well.
Right. They're dynasties, right? Who cares about your dynasty? Well, I got to marry my sister. I don't want to have anything to do with your damn dynasty, right? Incest is very popular within Egyptian culture, Mizraim's culture, right? Now, that's why it says after the ways of Egypt. Read on.
Wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall you walk in their
even
ordinances.
the Canaanites, the land we were moving into, they were popular in doing this too. They were very popular in incest and in homosexuality. Because a footnote, the Sodomites in Genesis, those are Canaanites. So the first Sodomites ever mentioned in Scripture were goddamn Canaanites. Africans. Makes sense, right? Them Africans first mentioned as homosexuals in the Scriptures. Makes very sense why the white man would try to tie us in with those filthy people. No, thank you. I'm an Israelite. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. None of you shall approach to any that is near kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord.
Right. So chapter 18 goes into sexual immorality, who you can and cannot, who you cannot indulge, get involved in when it comes to sexual matters. Right. Now, verse 9.
The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even the nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
Now that covers everything. Tamar's father was Dawad, right? Malak Dawad, King David, right? Ammon was David's first son, right? They may not have shared the same mother, but they shared the same father, right? If they didn't share the same father and they only shared the same mother, it would still be unlawful. If David wasn't both their fathers, it will still be unlawful, right? Whether she was born at home or whether she was born somewhere and you didn't know her and you were 20 years old and you finally realize, oh, that's my sister. Oh, how you doing? Oh, wow. No, you cannot involve yourself with her in sexual matters. That's unlawful. You're going to be put to death, right? That's everyone understand that. Khan? Khan. Let's keep going. Back to 2 Samuel.
2 Samuel chapter
13.
13, verse 12. And she had answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not this folly.
Yeah, don't do this stupidity. Read on.
And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one as the fools in Israel.
Right, you're going to be one of them idiots, right? She said. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, therefore, I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee.
Right. She said, speak to the king, and he's not going to withhold me from you, right? So is she really saying, oh, go talk to our daddy, go talk to our Abba, right, King David, and he's going to set up a marriage for me and you. Just don't force me right now. Is it really what she's trying to say? What is she really trying to get? What is she really trying to do? Let's see who got that. And then, so she can what? You got to basically give him a brother hand. There you go. She's doing it to get away from him. If he thought, oh, well, maybe she's right. Maybe if I do talk to my dad, I am his firstborn child. And talk to daddy, talk to Abba, talk to Pops. And maybe Pops will set up the marriage for me and my sister. Right? This is not Alabama. No offense to any of my brothers that's in Alabama. Right? This is not some outback country. This is Israel. And we have laws here. Right? So she was hoping to say that so she convinced them to get off me and stop. So she can get away from him. Right? Keep going.
Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her.
And this tells us that this was what? Was this really love? It was not love. It was what?
Lust.
It's what?
Lust.
It's lust, which is a strong, immoral sexual desire, or a strong, unlawful sexual desire, right? I found this funny, so I'm gonna post this up here. And it was crazy. I was posting up the word lust, the distinctions between lust and love. Due to time, I'm not gonna pull up all the definitions I had, but I will airdrop this to the computer. Pull that up. And it was funny because you can share the screen on that one. You know what's funny is because when I was searching the definition for lust, it was so funny. This image popped up, and it was just hilarious to me. Right? Pull that image up. Let's see. You mean airdrop it again?
No, it was there. It's in photos somewhere.
I airdropped it again. Let me go to screen share. All right. So it says right here, it says the main difference between lust and love is that lust is purely sexual attraction, while love is both passionate and compassionate. Signs of lust include spending most of your time with a partner, being physically intimate, having little interest in their life outside of the bedroom, and having different values. So it was interesting to me. It was funny to me because when I searched up the term lust, the first thing that popped up was an image of a homosexuals. So this tells us that America is telling you that what is being a homosexual? It's what? Is it love? What is it? It's what? It's lust. It's an unlawful sexual desire, man. And it's crazy that they pulled that up when I'm searching up lust. That's crazy. Oh, man. I tell you, man. Esau, like the scripture, like our king said, a kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. Right? You can pull it down. So now we understand what Ammon was dealing with. That all of it was just lust. Right? He didn't care about that sister, man. Go ahead. Let's start. Continue.
Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Ammon said unto her, Arise, be gone. And she said unto him, There is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her.
Right. So what's she saying that the evil he's doing right here? She's not trying to say that she wants to stay there with him and be married to him. No. But she doesn't want him to be kicked out of his house just like that. They just had intercourse. Right? So he's about to take her and throw her out of his house, butt naked and all, and her shame is going to be revealed to all those who may be there to see. That is an abomination. That is evil. Right? That's what she's saying. This is a greater evil than what you just did. Now everybody's going to understand right here off the bat. Me coming to your house like this, everyone's going to understand what just happened. Right? Go ahead.
Then he called his servant that ministered unto him, and said, Put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her. And she had a garment of diverse colors upon her. For with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled. Then his servant brought her out, and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head, and rent her garment of diverse colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head, and went on crying. And Absalom, her Absalom, her brother, said unto her, Hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? But hold now thy peace, my sister. He is thy brother. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house.
Now
But when
here comes more problems. Read on.
But when King David heard all these things, he was very wroth.
What was he?
He was very wroth.
This is showing. This is all playing. This is all being orchestrated, ultimately to be David's punishment. David was wroth, but he did not do what? What he did not do? A king is supposed to bring what to the people?
Judgment.
Huh?
Judgment.
Judgment, and
Justice?
and justice. This is his son who did this, and he did not bring justice. Especially it happened to his own daughter, right? This wickedness blinded his eyes, right? But this is ultimately for the Most High to punish him, right? Because, read on.
And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon neither good nor bad.
What did Absalom do?
And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon neither good nor bad.
Uh-huh.
For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar.
Right. Because remember, like we said before, we have to go back to this footnote. Let's get 2 Samuel 12. 2 Samuel 12, verse 10. No, verse 11. The punishment of David.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house.
I'm going to raise up evil against you out of thine own house. It begins with Amnon forcing himself onto his own sister. David not doing anything and doing wicked, not bringing justice to this wicked Negro. Which shows Absalom that what? This man is corrupted. How do you not pass judgment onto your own son for this evil that he did? Now, who's being raised up evil? Who's being raised up to be evil against David? Who is in his house? It's who? What family? Who is it specifically? Who is it specifically? What son? Which one? He had a lot of sons. They're like 18, 19, 20 sons. I don't know. Nope. Why would Abner hate him? Abner was the one who came to him to get his sister to come to the house. Absalom. How could Pos let this man take my sister to go to his house? Let this man, he sleeps with my sister, and he does nothing about it? From Absalom's perspective, David is evil. But this is ultimately the Lord's punishment toward David. He's raising up an evil out of his own house, right? Absalom even says, David even said it before, while Solomon, this is Solomon when he was still a baby and everything, but David even says that Absalom was one of his favorite sons. Absalom was one of his favorite loved sons, right? And he's going to take his favorite son and he's going to raise him up to be an adversary out of his household. That's what the Lord's going to do to him as a punishment, right? Where were we? In chapter 13.
Verse 22. And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad.
Uh-huh.
For Absalom hated Amnon.
What did he do?
For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar.
Right. Footnote. We're going to leave it off there. That's where we're going to end. And we're going to continue in verse 23 next week. But footnote. He says he neither did good nor bad, for Absalom hated Ammon. This is a footnote, but it's not dealing with the narrative of what we're going into this portion, right? I remember years ago I was dealing with a sister, and I remember when she sat down and she was talking to me and telling me how, she just doesn't understand. She can't really hate the white man. She can't really feel that hate for him. But the thing is that hate, a lot of brothers who come to the truth and do hate Esau and stuff like that and be angry and curse him out and this, that. A lot of times brothers be just going by the emotion. I mean, just be going off the surface of the emotion. The white man can hate you, smile, hire you, pay you, and goddamn is plotting to destroy your people, man. That's the level of hate. That's the level of hate that so-called black and Hispanic people have to learn against their enemies. A certain level of hate that you're going to smile with him, take whatever he has, and bring it back to your people to be against him. I mean, there's levels to this. Maybe we got to do a class, how to hate your enemies, right? But I remember years ago, I remember taking her to this scripture, and I told her that you don't have, listen, you, as a sister, you don't have to be sitting down somewhere thinking, white man's devil, white man's devil. You know what I mean? Just going around angry all the time, right? Because being angry all the time is not healthy. It's not good for your health at all, right? But I told her that when it comes to dealing with these heathens, she was new in the truth. Dealing with these heathens, just like Absalom, do neither good nor bad for them. But just like Absalom, you're going to hate them in your heart, right? You don't have to be good. You don't have to be some, I don't know, damn house slave. You know what I mean? Trying to help a white man and his family with their tire. Keep driving. Don't do no good. You know what I mean? But if you see him lost and he's hitchhiking and it's just you driving on the road, don't swerve the car and hit that Edomite. Don't do no bad either. Because it might not be expedient. It might land you in jail. So don't do no good, don't do no bad, because you're going to hate him in your heart. It's going to develop, right? And I remember telling her that. And it did help her, right? So that was just unrelated to the narrative, the portion was going through. But I want to say, Ba'ashem, Amasiak Yahushai, the water, Thumb Yad, Aman. Let's clap it up. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. It was a powerful class. We went to history, we went to archaeology. All praise to the Most High. I want to do so much more with that, because this is the history class, and that's what we should be going into. But don't worry. As we go further into the scriptures, we're going further into the portion. This is our foundation, the portion, scriptures. But there will be times, just like last year when we went into Maccabees, went into the history of the Maccabees and the Hasmonean dynasty, we'll take time to make a small break from the portion and go into other things in history that took place with our people, like the Dark Ages, the kingdoms that was in the black kingdoms that ruled in Wales, Scotland, Ireland, the Russian kings, the Russian czars, black czars that ruled over Russia. I want to go into all of that, but all things take time, right? So all praise to the Most High. If there's any questions before we get up, go ahead.
All the stuff you just talked about.
Come.
The black czars, the kings of Russia. This is in scripture.
No. Those are that's extra biblical. That's all after biblical times. That's why you have to lay down the foundation, because a lot of times people see the Bible and they just people, right? Even when we first come into the truth, it's like the first thing you think is everything's about precept. But it's not about just precepts. It's you have to have a completeness. You have to have some understanding in the prophecy. You have to have understanding in the words of Yahushua. You have to have understanding in the gospel. You have to have understanding in the law, the history, because all of this is how you keep that oil in your lamp. Keep your that fire that's in you that has you in the truth, right? If you put too much in one other, then you're neglecting something else, right? You're going to be without, So that's why the first thing we have to lay down the foundation, which is the history that's right here in the portion, right? But from there, then we'll be able to go into other things, other famous, prominent black men that ruled in Europe, even in Africa, and all of that, like Masa Musa, right? I'm very interested and want to talk about him. You know what I mean? The Ashanti, the tribe of Ashanti, the Iwe, the Wolof, the Bakongo. You know what I mean? I want to talk about all of them. Senegal. I want to talk about our people there. The Canary Islands. I want to talk about our people when they went there. You know what I mean? But it won't just be me. There will be times where I'll invite other brothers to sit on in the class. Because, like, for example, Captain Taziwan, he's a powerful historian. Powerful historian. Expert in Northern Kingdom history and archaeology. Powerful brother. All right, and he just so happens to be my own brother, right? So, we'll go into further. But I think that's a question. Is that a question? Officer Bunker? No, it says a question there. I can't see it on the screen up here.
Not that I see.
Hmm?
Not that I see. No.
What's that last statement that was sounding?
I'm reading about King David also. This class helps.
All praise to the Most High. I would love to have heard that statement. Let's clap it up for that person. Okay, so let's rise and face Jerusalem toward the city of peace. The blowing the shofar. The prayer sign. The blowing the shofar. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shai.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shai.
Psalms 133 in the Lashon Kodash, repeat the Hebrew. Shayar,
Shayar.
Hama'alwa,
Hama'aybat.
Ladawad,
Ladawad.
Hana,
Hana.
Ma,
Ma.
Tawab,
Tawab.
Wama,
Wama.
Nayam,
Nayam.
Shabath,
Shabbath.
Akyam,
Akyam.
Gam, Yakad,
Yakad.
Hashaman, Hatawab,
Atawab.
Al,
Ayah.
Hara'ash,
Hara'ash.
Yorad,
Yarad.
Al,
Ayah.
Hazakwan,
Azakwan.
Zakwan,
Zakwan.
Aharan,
Harawan.
Shayarad,
Irad.
Al,
Ayah.
Paya,
Paya.
Marewafyawa,
Ayawatwa.
Katol,
Katol.
Kamwamwan,
Karamwan.
Shayarad,
Shayarad.
Al,
Ayah.
Haraya,
Haraya.
Taziawan,
Tazayawan.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Sham,
Shem.
Tazawa,
Tazawa.
Yahawa,
Yahweh.
Af,
Ath.
Habaraka,
Abraka.
Kayam,
Kayam.
Aid,
I.
Haiwam,
Abalam.
Bahashem,
Bashem.
Amasyak,
Hamashiach.
Yahushai,
Yahushai.
Thawada,
Wada.
Famyad,
Kamyag.
Aman.
Aman. Psalms 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as a dew of Hermon, and as a dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Ba'ashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, Tawaratham Yad, Aman.
Hallelujah. Clap it up. So let me get some visual. All praise to the Most High. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Every Friday at LOZ 2937 Westbar Boulevard, the Light of Zion. I'm Captain Montezak, and I do the Friday history class. The one reading for me was
Of Sabbanagad, Shalom.
next week, December 17th, on a Saturday, we will be having our Feast of Dedication. Hallelujah. We'll be having our Feast of Dedication, a day where mighty men of Levi, the mighty men of Israel, stood up and fought for our people, man. Fought against the so-called Caucasian persuasion that was trying to rise up against our temple. We fought against them, and we fought, and we stood strong in the Most High God. So we keep this feast as a memorial to the Most High God, to the altar, and to the temple that we defended. So I want to invite all brothers and sisters to this feast. I have the brother put it in the comment board. I think put them in the comment board. Oh, who has the address on them right now? Let me see. I got the address. Let me see. I know I have it. Let me see. Let me see this. There you go. Go ahead. You can say this, officer. It's the message as Chief Minister Solomon.
By Chief Minister Shalama, Chateau Mar Golf Resort, Retro Modern Boutique Hotel. To the LOZ family, the Feast of Dedication will be held at the following location on December 17th at 6 p.m. Oh, I think I need to go into the actual.
But you said the location.
I'm gonna go for the location right now.
Okay.
3501 Inverary Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 33319.
All praises. Say it one more time.
3501 Inverary Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 33319.
So I hope you got that. And I want to say shalom to the nation of Israel. We'll be bringing up tomorrow.